I hitched a ride East San Antonio. Gonna take some time to let my hair grow, and maybe soon I'll pass your way again. We'll grab a coffee, girl, maybe then I found some work sure to break my back. Cowboys in denim, you might even like that. And maybe soon I'll pass your way again. We'll grab a coffee, girl, maybe then. I made my way down the Gulf of Mexico. I tried to burn out while the sun was setting low. And maybe soon I'll run out my tan. We'll grab a coffee, girl, maybe. Ooh. Maybe. Say, maybe. I said.
Welcome to Acoustic Thursday at Studio 51, WNHH FM. You are listening to live to New Haven singer-songwriter Pete Greco with Wes Lewis on the sax. Little gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in to our show today.
Thanks for having us.
And I'm going to ask you, Pete, while we're talking to get real close. So tell me about that song you wrote.
So that is a song called San Antonio that was written kind of a long time ago. Now, the summer before the pandemic.
That does feel like maybe 100 years ago.
Yeah, it does feel like a long. It's kind of a long time ago now. We're looking at 5 years.
Consciously, yeah.
But I just like singing it. It's just I don't have to think too hard. It's just a.
Well, I thought so much of Leon Bridges when I heard that. Do you think that's fair? I mean, it's that kind of groove where you get in. And I know it's like the whole song was just G and F major 7, but you got the groove of it.
That's right. That you are.
There was no bridge, no chorus.
No. We just.
So tell me about thinking about that way when you're writing a song like that. How you think about doing it? Because I think it works. It's interesting to have a 2-chord song without variation, but you had such a groove in it. You kind of with the vocals, you're able to take it different places.
I think you're right. I think with those types of tunes, like I don't necessarily. It's not going to be the most fun answer. I don't think too hard, like if it's just a vamp or if it's just there's no chorus or no bridge. Like I like those words so much, so I'll just keep it. Mm-hmm. You know that's like
And the songwriting process is interesting because you need that moment of inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't say, I'm going to go write a song about this, right? And how did that come to you?
That tune specifically was, I was living, I did a summer in New Orleans, and I was nervous because there was like a really bad storm coming. And I'm from Buffalo, like West, so we don't like have like the hurricane.
You do have endless snow.
We do, but that doesn't really faze us.
Right.
I wonder if they still do have endless snow now that it's warmer. When my wife grew up there when she was really little, she said it was just like it would just be there forever, tons of snow.
Correct. Yeah.
And we found out before in the air that you and Wes are both from Buffalo, but you hadn't known that. That's not how you met. You both came to New Haven.
Yeah, we hadn't revisited it until recently. I remember though the first time I met Pete.
You can get close to the mic, yeah.
the first time I met Pete was at the Jam. Before now it's the Seeing Sounds Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Previously it was the Jam at the State House. And I'd been to one prior instance of it, I think, that Pete couldn't make or something like that. And everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna love Pete. He's from Buffalo."
Is there something about being from Buffalo? Like, this is just outsider view. I think it was a very unpretentious place.
I would agree.
It's not a place where we put on airs, but there's grit to it, and there's soul, there's history.
For sure.
Yeah. It's a cool place.
Like, what was it like growing up there?
I think it's just such a microcosm for the arts. That's usually a pretty low cost of living. It's a big college town. There's a lot of young folks in Buffalo. And I just remember going to jam sessions, seeing a lot of outdoor concerts, a lot of music venues, and sort of the cross.
Is there a genre? Because modern time we think Ani DeFranco, but that's obviously not the history. Did it have a little more of an R&B history, or what's the rock? Like, what did you hear growing up?
Well, I mean, I think originally, like, a lot of jazz,
mm-hmm.
like a long time ago. You know, it was like a hub, Buffalo, because not to get in the weeds about Buffalo, but the long and short of it is that at the turn of the century, there was more millionaires in Buffalo than any other city in America.
I had no idea. Which century?
I mean, you can
the 1900s, not 20.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think that's true. I could be wrong, but I mean, if you got the internet out there.
Boy, that's not how you think of it now.
That's right. So, like, there was just a lot of.
So it was the Erie Canal, or
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was the gateway to the West.
Oh,
yeah. So like that jazz boom era was huge in Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo is famously on the Chitlin circuit, so all sorts of bands would be coming through town. The Colored Musicians Union in Buffalo is a big thing.
Still there.
Still the Colored Musicians
It's still
Club.
there.
Yep.
It's interesting how groups use the names of their organizations they keep, like NAACP,
Mm-hmm.
for when the word was used that isn't used today.
Yeah,
Right.
It's crazy. And I was in the house band there for a couple years.
Oh,
At
I didn't
that
know
club.
that. I've probably jammed with you in Buffalo at some point.
Well,
I was in the George Scott Big Band.
Oh, okay.
So you grew up playing music, both of you?
Yeah, I played music all through middle school, high school.
Always the sax.
Always the sax. Yeah, we would go to the Pine Grill Jazz Reunion every year. Usually see like Lonnie Smith. At the Colored Musicians Club, people would always talk about Grover Washington Jr. Grew up in Buffalo.
You grew up in Buffalo.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
him a lot.
Yeah.
And so you always played jazz when you started, or that kind of thing when you pick up the sax?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of into everything. I definitely had my like Dave Matthews Band phase.
With the sax, okay.
Yeah.
And how about you, Pete? What did you grow up playing? Or how did you get into the music?
I started playing kind of like after college. Like I always like kind of was a hobby. Like I just would have a guitar like in my room or whatever, and I would strum along. But like after college, I don't know. I just started playing more. I don't know. I didn't consciously really think of it.
We said you're in a house band, so you must have been pretty proficient.
Yeah, I was 25. So I went to college in Connecticut, and then when I moved back to Buffalo, I was 25, 26. That's when I joined George's band down at the club.
What was that like? What'd you learn being in a house band?
Well, I learned, I mean, the basics, like how to read a chord chart, you know.
You played electric?
I played electric, and they were doing, I don't know if you remember, they do the Sunday jam sessions at the club.
Yeah, I used to go to those in high school.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, you probably did
cross
end
paths,
up in the same room. Yeah.
And then when I moved back there, like they were doing Saturday like blues night, because I was new. You know, I was only like a couple years into playing electric guitar, really.
But you were good enough to be in the house band.
I don't know. It was tough to say. Like I went down to blues night because I was a little insecure to go to jazz night, and that's when the big band leader was like, "Hey man, do you like read charts and stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Was it true?
Not really. No.
That's those classic stories.
Yeah,
Get their break. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
What do I do
And
now?
then, but he was nice enough. Like the guys down there, especially like, I won't even say the older guys. Like I've been back a couple times, somewhat recently, and the younger guys. I say younger. They're probably my age, or probably 40. They're great guys too, but like they're just very like, they're down to show you. You know, like that's not. It
Like
wasn't
the passing chords on Stormy Monday rather than just playing the 3 chords of a blues.
Yeah, for sure. And like even I was right into playing gigs like tuxedo gigs, botanical gardens, all that type of stuff. And like I was swimming in it, but everybody was just like, I don't know, just supportive, like
And when did you start writing your own music and why?
A little bit after that, I think I started writing songs. I'd always like tinkered, but like, I would say it was probably like a year or two after that like I wrote a song that I would like play for
and you did some solo, some with the band.
Yeah, some solo, some with the band, and then, but all the while I was playing like top 40 cover band stuff, and I was just getting into music.
And what brought you to New Haven?
I was living down in Trumbull, and I was student teaching. I got my student teaching position in the city of New Haven at Nathan Hale.
And what'd you teach?
Kindergarten.
Oh, wow. What was that like?
It was cool. It was great. I mean, I had a great, it's like any other job. Like,
But you made a decision to come to Connecticut to be a teacher.
I did. I did my undergrad here.
Where?
At Sacred Heart. And like when I was living in Buffalo, like after college, like it just didn't make any sense. Like if you know how like teaching certifications work, like I walked into a New York, I think it was Buff State.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I have all these credits. I graduated from college. Like I want to be a teacher. They're like, well, you need to like do our stuff.
Right.
And like I remember the guy was just like, you need to go back to the Sacred Heart and just finish there. To get a New York State certification would be too tricky.
That's interesting because people need teachers nowadays.
Well, this was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You can get a teaching job.
So you settled here because you could finish, and then you got into teaching.
Yep.
And now you teach robotics and
manufacturing over at Hill House.
So how'd that happen?
I was teaching at Barnard. I was doing like tech,
robots and stuff.
Yeah, robots.
And that's K8.
K8, yep. And the principal there, he got into robotics, and then he also got into manufacturing, and he left to be the science director in New Haven, and then take over manufacturing. And I kind of was like...
And on the side, you got this music career. You play out with a band. You play solo. You have 2 recordings now.
Yeah. Just,
So you want to play us something newish? Or what do you want to play?
Let's play the... You know how you were like, when you start writing songs? This would be the first song.
What was it called?
It's called Angel Man.
Angel Man.
Yeah.
All right, you're listening to...
It's cool.
to Acoustic Thursday on Studio 51 on WNHH-FM with Pete Greco and Wes Lewis on sax.
We'll have Wes lead us in on this. This is going to be cool. Yeah. All right, here we go. Out of the darkness of this empty room, all I see is you. Even though you don't see these wings, these are just material things. And honey, I can help you to understand that I'm your angel man. So put on your best dress and your stockings too. 'Cause tonight I'm alone with you. Even though you don't see these wings, well, these are just material things. And honey, I can help you to understand that I'm your angel man.
Angel Man.
Yeah,
Pete Greco with Wes Lewis on
song.
sax. So, I hate to be reductive, but
What's up?
I kept thinking of These Arms of Mine by Otis Redding.
Oh yeah.
These arms of mine, the way it leads in. And I wondered if that came from the band you were in, when you have those kind of chords that lead, you have the basic GCD structure, but you lead in with the minor chord thrown in, or the F sharp minor,
Yeah,
leading to the next one.
I think with that song, like, it used to have, I used to do a bunch of gnarlier chords. Like I would do like, I was going up and doing, and I think I was very into like the big band at the time.
But it builds a little tension as you go to the
It
next
does,
chord by
it
leading
does.
in with like a
Just
diminished chord or
little-
a sharp chord leading
yeah,
in. Yeah.
yeah.
Those chromatic diminished chords in there at the one moment, really cool.
Yeah.
But were you listening to that? Like, what were your influences when you write a song like that? It feels so retro soul to me.
I mean, this was, you're looking at like, 15 years ago. It's tough to say. I think I was just learning at the time, like, that, I don't know, there's like, you can switch chords out for other chords. It was like I think the dawn of that probably.
And were you in love with someone when you wrote that?
I don't think so. Maybe. It's tough to say.
Okay. And Wes, now what brought you to Buffalo, New Haven?
The PhD. So I
doing
came
it-
here. I'm a 6th year now, trying to finish up next semester. And
Just think of the patience involved being a PhD, right? You go 7 years, and then if you're in science, it's like you study very small thing as part of a big search for this big discovery, right?
very much so.
So you're in
yeah.
bioinformatics. No, informatics.
Yep, you got it.
So what is that?
So I do like genome science. We study DNA and RNA sequences associated with specific cell types. Those will be cell types from disease, cell types from development. You're developing an organ system in embryology or something like that. And I do all of the informatics, all of the computer science, data analysis to process that sequencing data and understand the underlying condition.
And what is there anything specific you're studying about the genome for your project? Like, is your research in any one aspect of this?
As you said, it's like very small things. So I have like a specific algorithm to try to isolate groups of cells that are well defined by a specific group of genes. So
And why do we want to know that? Does that help us cure diseases, understand better how DNA works, RNA?
yeah, even on a more basic level, it lets us take a huge data set that's very noisy, hard to get information from, and understand some of the cell types and states that exist within that. And sort of like you give it the data set and it tells you what those cell types and states.
So when you're in the
are.
lab all day and then you're playing your sax at night, is it different parts of your brain, different parts of your consciousness, or is there kind of a connection between science research you do and the saxophone you blow?
I think that's a long story, the connection between these two things.
Tell me about
it. Well, I did my undergrad at the University of Rochester, so just an hour from Buffalo. And in my first year, I ended up doing an internship in a neuroscience laboratory, not because I excelled at science or anything that year leading up to it, but more because I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go into. And so I was going to try to do research and learn more about these fields. And the lab I worked in had a case study that was like a neurosurgical case study of an alto saxophonist. He was having auditory hallucinations.
Really?
It
This
was
is interesting.
definitely very interesting.
Seems like foreordained.
Yeah, very fortuitous for sure.
He was having hallucinations. What kind of?
He would just hear buzzing sounds when he wasn't doing anything to hear buzzing sounds.
And there's a professional saxophone.
Yeah, and music teacher. I forget exactly where he was from, but from Western New York. So a relatively local guy had come in. And this wasn't, so they scanned his brain and found that there was a lesion in his brain. But it wasn't a cancerous tumor, it was totally benign. But nonetheless, because it was causing these hallucinations, they wanted to operate on it, get it out of there, restore connectivity so that he didn't have these auditory hallucinations anymore. And I was sort of the person that designed the experiments to say, how is his music function? How is his ability to process melodies? And we used that to figure out the margins of this thing that we were removing, or well,
meaning that how much to take out or not to take out so that he could still play music.
Exactly.
So your job as an undergraduate was try to figure out how his brain worked when he played music, so that when you're removing this lesion, or you don't remove a lesion, you fix a lesion, right?
It was removed, yeah.
So you're removing a lesion. You wanted to make sure you didn't remove parts that were affecting his ability to play music.
Exactly.
So what happened in the end? Did it work?
People always ask me that. It did. The follow-ups that I'm aware of, it did work out, but also I don't personally know this person anymore.
I just wonder whether there has to be some change in how your brain thinks about music processing. But he continued to be a saxophonist and a teacher.
He continued to be a saxophonist and a teacher, and in the immediate follow-up, 1-2 years out, etc., it seems like all of that dysfunction was
and the hallucinations were gone.
Was gone. Yeah.
So how did that lead you? It sounded like that the science led you to music. No, you already were a saxophonist. So what did you think? Like hearing it, was it just a coincidence, or it's because you were a saxophone player? They said, "Hey, you pick this up."
So I had taken like one psych course, and I was interested in psychology, and then just looked at faculty members and said, "Well, this seems like a very prestigious psych professor." And he was also somebody who replied to my email, and then I had the fortuitous finding upon meeting with him that he was doing a music-related case study, and it all kind of worked out. But I guess I came to it more from wanting something to do for the summer initially.
But they didn't. Oh, this is a summer gig.
Yeah,
but they didn't say take this because you know saxophone or you know music.
Yeah, no, I think I think I would have gotten a position in the lab regardless, but to be assigned on that project definitely came up
because you played saxophone
because
since middle school. You said, right?
Well, actually, I think most of the other people working on that project were not musicians. Somehow I hadn't found out that he was specifically a saxophone player until like the week of the surgery.
So how did this then lead to a career in science?
Well, it was like
music?
the coolest project because I got to make a difference. You know, I got to do really cool research, and it got published. And it was clinical, it was psychological, it was scientific, it was musical. And then I came out of it and was like, well, I don't know if this means that I like research. I don't know if this means that I should just stick with music. Maybe that's what I liked out of it. And I kind of, up until that point, I'd mostly done music stuff for years. All throughout high school, I was like the person who was into music and would just be in various STEM classes because their friends were also in it. But I said, let's see if this is something that I might be interested in.
So you decided to go for the main career, science, but the sax on the side, and you play regularly out?
Yeah, but when I was an undergrad after that, the next 3 years, I'd kind of asked myself, what are of the roles of the people in that operating room on the day that that lesion was removed?
And you were there that day?
And I was there that day. I was a little woozy. It was a lot. But I was like, which of these people do I want to be, kind of? And I realized that it was a good idea to maybe aim high. I was pre-med because maybe I could be the neurosurgeon that does things like that. And then I thought about it and I was like, wait, this is like a 1 in 1,000 case, basically. Like there's no way I can specialize in removing benign tumors for musicians with auditory deficits. And yeah, at that point I had done all the science courses. I'd done research that was successful. It seems like it made sense to go into the PhD, start asking more types of questions related to biology.
So you can be a researcher.
Be a researcher. Yeah.
So what's the difference or the similarities between playing the sax and doing the science research?
I think it's the differences that keeps me doing both. The PhD is also like a job. I get a stipend for it. So it's a little bit like that's work, and that helps. Getting paid helps.
Mm-hmm.
But with research, it takes a lot of persistence, as you said. I've been doing this for years, working on the same project for a couple of years. But with music, I constantly feel good about my performance after the day of a gig or something like that.
So it feels more complete. This also, does your brain feel you're going free in one area, let your mind wander? In the other case, you can't let your mind wander. You got to focus intensely on every step.
Yeah. I think there is something about being able to like focus intently on individual steps that is alike in music as it is in computer science and research. Yeah.
And tell me, Pete, so you're teaching manufacturing, so you're kind of a teacher person, manufacturing person. How does that compare when you're teaching that to playing guitar or writing music?
I don't tend to, compartmentalize too much, like I think one thing that helps playing music if you're teaching anything is that like you're teaching yourself, like you know what works, right? If I'm working something out, like if I know that something takes muscle memory, it takes muscle memory. So I might be in a classroom and be like, man, this just needs to be automatic, right? Versus something that I know musically that might take a long period of time. It might take me playing 50 gigs, doing this set to really like maybe get inside to what, this genre or this, this singer's like trying to get, across. It might take more time. So it's like, it does help with that type of stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're talking to singer-songwriter Pete Greco, and he's here in the studio with saxophonist Wes Lewis on Studio 51, Acoustic Thursday. We got another song for us.
Yes, let's do one off Conventional Sounds. Okay, right up in there. All right.
Conventional Sounds, your most recent album, right?
Yep.
2024.
Yep.
What's it called?
This song is called Photo.
All right.
And it's me and Wes didn't really prepare a lot before this. We kind of just were like, let's let it rip. So we're in B. Yeah. No, we're in B. Well, it's late and I'm tired. Dinner's cold. Close the phone. Everything's like a hurricane. Every day seems to wash away. So tonight, I'm gonna look at you like a photograph. It's like holding up a mirror straight into our past. I know I was wrong and I'll try to be strong, but my heart can't make it last. Well, tonight I'm gonna look at you like a photograph. Well, it's late, you're gone. It just won't picture tone. Everything's like a hurricane. Every day seems to wash away. Well, tonight I'm gonna look at you like a photograph. It's like holding up a mirror straight into our past. And I know I was wrong, and I'll try to be strong, but my heart can't make it last. Girl, tonight I'm gonna look at you like a photograph. Ooh, take it away. Ooh, everything's like a hurricane. Every day seems to wash away. Well, tonight I'm gonna look at you like a photograph. It's like holding up a mirror straight into our past. And I know I was wrong, and I'll try to be strong, but my heart can't make it last. Well, tonight I'm gonna look at you like a photograph. Well, tonight I'm gonna look at you like a photograph. Well, tonight I'm gonna look at you like a photograph.
Tonight I'm going to look at you like a photograph. The song's called Photo. It's from the most recent album, not EP, correct? Conventional Sounds in Folk Music.
Correct.
By Peter Greco, who's here with Wes Lewis on WNHHF's Acoustic Thursday, Studio 51. I have to say, this doesn't, I wouldn't say this sounds like folky singer-songwriter music. I keep coming back to like Atlantic Records.
I have a thought on that, though.
Tell me about it.
The thought is, all these songs, even though, I play with a band, the guys that I recorded the album with, we're playing down at 3 Sheets a week from tomorrow.
So that's going to be Friday, April 25th.
Yep.
On a bill with Old Milk Moody.
Yep. Mooney. Old Milk
sorry.
Mooney. Yeah. Great band. Great singers, just very good.
So how big a band is it? 4-piece?
The band that I play with is a 4-piece: guitar, bass, drums, and keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
But why I kind of do all the songs that I do are only written by like me alone. Like it's just me. The record is just me playing and singing, and then we add the stuff around it. So like,
it's not collaboration.
I guess when I envision it, it's just me playing kind of
like a folky singer,
Bob Dylan style, just writing and playing, and then the guys just kind of drop in. And even when we rehearse, we've been rehearsing for the show coming up next Friday. It's kind of similar. I just start a tune, and I don't know, 10 minutes later, it's.
And they're tight. They're like
they are
the 2-3 minute deal. Yeah.
They
So
I'm
where are you
lucky.
hoping to be going with this? What's next?
Just wrote a new record, so gonna start recording that soon. And honestly, like anytime someone asks me that, I feel like the only answer I can come up with is just like, I feel like just kind of thinking about the record, the previous one, Conventional Sounds in Folk Music. It's like, I feel like it sounds so good from a fan's perspective. Like I'll be like, man, the bass is so good. The drumming is so good. Like the organ playing is like, I just want more people to hear these guys. It's like, and it's weird, like, because I'm in that band.
What's the band called?
I just play under my own name, but I feel so like uncomfortable in a way sometimes because it's like, I feel like I'm gassing it up so much, but it's like, because I'm in it, it feels awkward. But like, if I wasn't in that band, I'd be like, guys, you have got to see these guys play. Like they are.
And so if you go to your website, I know she play a lot in Rhode Island. How did that go? Like I was looking, is that I forget band? No, you have a website, Pete Greco Music.
Yeah. I play in like wedding bands. So I play all kinds of stuff,
But your schedule showed a lot of gigs in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I play in Rhode Island bands. I play.
How
Yeah.
did that come about? You're from Buffalo. You're living in New Haven area.
I just linked with a band that is out there. I spend a lot of time in the summers out there, and I just linked with them last year. And
do you want to play something new, or what do you want to take us out with?
Let's play a new one.
Yeah.
Let's play a new one.
Is it gonna be on the next record?
It will be on the next record, and it will be at Three Sheets. We've been rehearsing this one. So
what's this one called?
It's called Us.
Are you gonna be playing there too, Wes?
If he's available, we haven't even talked this far out.
Okay.
It's so crazy.
Well, it's another whole week.
Yeah.
If he'll have me.
Yeah. Oh man, it'll be great. So yeah, this is a tune called Us. It's an A for those that are following along, and it's kind of like a blues. So like right in the middle, just kind of we'll do it up. Somewhere down the road, there's a pot of honey. Somewhere down the road, it's nice and sunny, but it takes some time. Gonna take love, gonna take patience, and the Lord above. Gonna take us, brothers and sisters. Sometimes in my mind it gets dark and dreary. Clouds hang low, girl, and my heart gets weird. It takes some time. Gonna take love, gonna take patience, and the Lord above. Gonna take us, brothers and sisters. Sometimes my mind it gets dark and dreary. Clouds hang low, girl, and my heart gets weird. It'll take some time. Gonna take love, gonna take patience, and the Lord above. Gonna take us, brothers and sisters. Sometime down the line, girl, we'll walk arm in arm. Healing wounds, baby, marching on. But it takes some time. Gonna take love, gonna take patience, and the Lord above. Gonna take us, brothers and sisters. Gonna take us, brothers and sisters.
Love that one. So I'll be on the next album. Name yet for the album?
What's that?
The new album have a name?
Yeah, it does not.
When's it coming out?
I got to start recording it,
I like that. A lot of ninth chords going on there.
Yes.
And called Us. That was Pete Greco, and Babs Orzavi wrote in with some hearts and claps. Thanks, Babs. So Pete Greco, singer-songwriter, thanks for joining us today. And
thanks for having us
on the sax. I really enjoyed meeting you guys.
Yeah.
Hearing your music,
Likewise.
hearing about your careers and your music journeys.